field would have been chisel plowed in the fall, which is a deeper form of tillage. And what you're hoping is that you get some rain and snow melt and things like that freezing and thawing and kind of helping to break up and loosen up the soil. And today we're getting ready to run a soil finisher to prepare it for a seed bed to hopefully plant some corn in. With this, there's a lot of stuff that you want to watch, you know, everything from the function of the tractor, speed, oil pressure, temperature, water temperature, exhaust temperature, all that kind of stuff, make sure she's running okay. But we also got to watch this 32-foot wide implement behind me, the field cultivator, the rolling baskets, make sure the parts that are supposed to move are moving and the parts that aren't supposed to be turning aren't turning or moving, and just kind of monitor its progress now while we're doing this. I'm kind of coming up to the end, so I'm going to shut the camera off for a second. One of the things we can adjust is the height of these disc blades. It's a round thing, it's kind of spinning on the front. We can raise and lower them. Today we don't have a lot of crop cover or anything that we need to cut through, so we're running those real shallow. In fact, we're running the whole rig really shallow because of the cold soil conditions and the fact that it's just a little bit damp underneath today. So we're maybe jumping the gun on this a little bit, but because this is a small field, we'll be able to work this a couple of times and get it in the right shape to be able to run our corn planter behind this and hopefully give this corn a fighting chance when it's starting off. So you got a little bit of an idea of how this is working. I can't actually show you video of it in the ground because I'm the only guy out here running this today. We've got our gang of disc blades up front. We can adjust the height of that, and that's mainly with this rig to cut through, say if you had a lot of crop residue or something like that that would get hung up on the pieces following it, and that's going to be mainly its purpose. So then we kind of move on back, and we've got our shovels. I've got this one up a little bit for you so you can just see the general shape of it here. And as that goes through the ground, it's going to disturb it, lift it up, and just kind of fluff the stuff up. And then moving on back, you have a harrow, and that's going to break up some of these little clods and things that we have. Now, I'm not sure how well this is going to translate on camera, but look at the size of the chunks and things like that, or clods of dirt, as we move back. And somebody was asking me about what the baskets are for. Sawyer was. Oh, great. Looks like I got a rock I got to dig out. I hope that's a piece of dirt, but I'm not that lucky. So anyway, you've got these baskets, and they're going to spin. And you can tell that this is just pulverized even more behind it than the stuff in between the two pieces. So, if this stuff were mud, this would be a problem. We'd have no business being out here. And these chunks are a little bigger than I like, but you can tell, they just kind of explode and break up, really nicely. So it's going to be fine. We drive over this to plant it, they're going to break up. And in fact, we might even hit this again. It's just a teensy bit too wet out here today. It's less than ideal. It's going to work, but it's less than ideal. But that's agriculture for you, and that's farming. It's always a little bit of give and take, and always some compromising going on. But hopefully, in the end, we get a good seed bed ready here for our corn that's going to be planted in here later in a few days when it warms up. Right now, temperatures are just a little too low, really low for this time of year. Okay, so we've got this nice long bar, and it actually has a place that it pins to and rides on this rig just for this occasion. I had to smack that rock a couple times pretty firmly with it, and hopefully, now I've got it, pried loose, and I'll just pick it up, throw it out of the way here in a second. Actually, it's going to ride around the tractor until we get close to a fence row or a place to put it where we're not going to have to deal with it again. But One thing I do want to warn you guys about, especially I know some of you guys that are watching this do a little bit of farming, or a lot of farming, and one thing that has happened to one of us, we had a rock stuck between some disc blades like that, and a guy was pulling it out, and then those blades snapped together. It kind of was like spring loaded. They had tension on it, and then they eventually squeezed back together where they belonged and threw that rock out, and it hit him in the face, and just it made his lips and stuff look like hamburger. It was a really bad deal. So you always want to be careful of things that are under pressure. You know, rocks in a piece of tillage equipment is one of those things, and it's just something that's kind of unexpected until you end up getting to experience that for yourself or know somebody that experiences it. So you always want to be careful when you're digging these rocks out. So we're getting our bar attached back on here, and I'm going to get back to it. Okay, one more small thing. You know, we stopped with this thing buried in the ground, you know, just as we were moving, so that I could show you guys how those different soil conditions looked. But it's rough on a tractor, on your clutch and things like that, to you know, take off with something in the ground. So we're actually going to pick that up and turn in a circle and then drop it back down. Or, you know, another option would be to lift it up a little bit and just back up a few feet, and then take off again and drop that tillage tool back in the dirt. But there's really no reason to, you know, abuse your equipment. This thing does have enough horsepower, and it's a big enough tractor that it would take off with that in there. But that's just not a real good thing to do. And if you make a habit out of, you know, being rough on your equipment, you're going to increase your maintenance expense and just give yourself a lot of headache. Okay, so with this, it's like a lot of things in life. You know, the devil's kind of in the details. So you can put a lot of people in a tractor that don't have any experience. You could drive it around out here, but really the key thing is you know, knowing when to use it, how to make all your adjustments to your piece of equipment, and under what conditions are suitable for what you are trying to accomplish. So lots of stuff to kind of monitor and pay attention to, and some people are really artists as far as tillage, and they can do just amazing things with these pieces of equipment. I'm not bad at it myself, but I rely on a little bit of other people's expertise and guidance sometimes when conditions are tough. So things are very rarely going to, you know, ever be ideal. And when they are ideal, I mean, that's just awesome. I mean, that's when it's a lot of fun, you know, to get out and just be able to run and not really have to think about what you're doing a whole lot. But that's not always going to be the case. So anyway, I'm going to get this field wrapped up, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.